Good afternoon, everyone. This is Weston's Weatherwise with another video forecast. In today's video, we break down the upcoming fire weather along with severe weather coming to most of all of the eastern side of the country. Starting off with the fire risk. We do have a extreme fire risk for portions of Texas, parts of western Oklahoma, and southeastern New Mexico. That is surrounded by a critical fire risk back through up into portions of Colorado and Kansas, even into parts of Nebraska. And then we have a elevated risk into parts of Iowa, back into just a sliver of Wyoming. So fire weather is going to die down here in the coming days, it looks like. But moving on, the day one outlook. The Storm Prediction Center has posted a marginal risk for portions of Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri, and along with Kansas. This is accompanied by a 5% hail threat. I'm not ruling out maybe a isolated 2% tornado threat in our next update in that portion of Iowa or back here in parts of Kansas, but definitely got to watch that. Tomorrow we do look to have a bit more of a return of severe weather with a slight risk in play in parts of Indiana, Illinois, then a very large marginal threat all the way from Wisconsin all the way down through parts of Mississippi, Alabama. So definitely got to watch that. This is accompanied with a 15% wind and then a 5% wind for that marginal area. The hail threat is also at 15%, but it is shifted a bit more to the west towards Chicago. But that is something that we also have to watch for. And then surrounding that, we have that marginal risk, that 5%. This was recently added, and I did think they would. So this was to be expected, but they have added a 2% tornado risk. This would be for an isolated spin-up tornado being possible in this area. I feel the greatest area is going to be down here in the southeastern part of the risk. But we got to keep an eye on that. Probably won't end up going live for this unless some PDS warning gets issued. Moving on to the day 6 outlook. This has shifted drastically. Used to be out across this area. Now we've shifted a lot farther to the south for this 15% risk. This includes portions of Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, and Mississippi. Now, Dallas-Fort Worth is included in this. So definitely got to keep an eye on this, as this is a day 6 outlook. Definitely has the chance to go enhanced. Moderate, I'm not saying. This, with all these events, these are either high shear, low cape, or high cape, low wind shear. So there's definitely a lot of factors going into these. Now, this map of the hazards is filled up anywhere from red flag warnings to fire weather watches. We have wind advisories, winter storm watches, high wind warnings, winter storm warnings, blizzard warnings, winter weather advisories. A lot of alerts on this map. Now, going ahead, taking a look at the HRRR. This is what radar could look like today. So as you can tell, we are going to see storms, fire, and one of the things is these storms are not going to be discrete. That is why we do not have a 2% tornado risk. I believe we might get one, but I'm not too concerned with it. Now, tomorrow, you can tell we are a bit more in the discrete mode up here. And if I'm to take a sounding, right there, right near that storm, it is marginal severe, as these storms are going to stay small, as you can tell by this small photograph. It is not enlarged at all. So definitely paying attention to that sneaky tornado threat, though. Now, if we go ahead, take a look at the HRRR for surface-based CAPE. So today we are going to get a bit of instability, and we are even seeing a little bit of instability in portions of Oklahoma and Kansas out ahead of those storms. So gotta watch if something is going to fire along there. But as you could tell, there's like absolutely no instability today. There's hardly any at all up here in this marginal risk. And then tomorrow, there's hardly any as well. So we are definitely lacking in CAPE, but that is the thing, is now we have to look at wind shear as, yeah, there's a decent amount of that. As you can tell, we're going to get a return, and there's quite a bit of wind shear up here for these storms, and even up here for this 2% tornado risk up here. We definitely got to watch this area for that, because there is a decent amount of wind shear. Now, going on to the significant tornado parameter, the reason that they added that 2% risk is because there's going to be that small spin-up threat. But I'd also like to point out here in Oklahoma, we do have a super low threat for a spin-up tornado with the showers and storms that are going to push off in Wednesday from this Tuesday system. Definitely watching that. And tomorrow we are going to get a brief window where we could have a brief spin-up possible. Now, heading on to the NAM model, you can tell it says about the same story, paints the same picture. If we look at CAPE, you can tell it's pretty aligned, not that much CAPE. There is still that threat here in Oklahoma. There is still a little bit of instability in Oklahoma and Kansas. Did not mean to take a sounding, pardon me. Now, if we go ahead and look at the wind shear, you can tell our low is digging. That is what is causing this. So it is going to keep, and you can tell here, we do get this little bit of wind shear. That is going to lead to our elevated fire danger, and then our possibility for if there are some thunderstorms for that brief spin up. Still, like I had said though, there's just like good wind shear in these areas, but not a lot of CAPE. Now, if we go look at the significant tornado parameter on the NAM, it's saying the same thing. Brief spin up possible in Oklahoma and Kansas across this corridor. It's going to be about a 2-hour corridor when those storms start to arrive. And then it is definitely not as aggressive as the HRRR was, but still got to watch this whole area for a brief spin up tornado to be possible. Now, if we can look at the GFS for the long term, for that day 7 outlook, or day 6 now, I should say. So that is on, what day would that be? Yes, it'd be here on around the 24th. So, as you can tell, showers and storms are going to fill into the area, and we're going to get a swath, a huge line, that could put an enhanced risk out for wind. Does not look like the tornado threat is going to be that high with that. So that's always a good sign. But it looks like here in the plains, we could start to get a little bit more active than what we have been here recently. So, gotta keep an eye on that. Here's surface-based CAPE. You can tell today, painting the same picture in the short term along with tomorrow. And then for this risk here, there is going to be decent cape down here in Texas. If I take a sounding here, as you can tell, marginal tornado. That hodograph is not the greatest. So there's just a lot of bust factors with these setups. I hope you guys all did enjoy today's video. I will see you in the next one. One last thing. We are at 133 subscribers right now, so please subscribe if you are new here. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.